Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whichever part of the world and whatever time zone you're joining us from. Welcome. Welcome to the 2022 edition of the Black Consciousness Festival, where we're focusing on healing and reconnection. The Black Consciousness Festival is a global platform that connects people of African descent with each other by sharing and encouraging exchange through information, traditions, histories, intentions, traumas, celebrations, legacies, stories connecting to pride, power, and practice. Our inaugural year was in 2020, where we curated a month of conversations and activities around topics of Black consciousness. In 2021, we had a few events: a youth festival, a weekend of conversations on reparations, and in November, conversations on shift, as we explored the many ways in which we, as people of African descent, shared and rebirthed elements of ourselves. The recordings of all these conversations are available on our website, theblackconsciousnessfestival.com, and our YouTube channel. As you listen to the conversations, we encourage you to be kind to yourself. Pause, breathe consciously, move, and appreciate all that you are. Thank you for joining us for this conversation. Enjoy!
Boa tarde a todas as pessoas que se encontram conectadas ao The Black Consciousness Festival 2022. Esse ano estamos abordando o tema da cura e da reconexão, e nesse momento iniciamos o nosso último diálogo de 2022, cujo título é A Voz de Iá, Conversas com Rezadeiras e Curandeiras. Esse diálogo será conduzido pela artesã de ideias Luisa Nascimento, ela que é dedicada à cocriação e gestão de projetos de desenvolvimento social e cultural. Luisa é uma profissional multidisciplinar, atua e pesquisa nas áreas e linguagens das culturas populares e tradicionais. Cofundadora da Irmandade, uma coletiva de mulheres afro-indígenas, Luisa tem atuado também com empreendedorismo e empoderamento feminino, tendo as referências identitárias e de retomada como horizonte de trabalho. É mestra em Desenvolvimento e Gestão Social pela UFBA e em Ciências Sociais pela UFRB. Mente criativa, alma sensível, olho de águia, mãe de 3, moça dos ventos. Seja bem-vinda, Luisa. Desejo a todas as pessoas que encontram-se conectadas um excelente diálogo.
Boa tarde, gratidão, Anderson. Satisfação estar aqui na roda neste momento. Boa tarde a todos e a todas que estão aqui, prestigiando, assistindo esse trabalho. Queria começar pedindo licença, a todos os mais velhos e as mais velhas. Pedir a bênção à dona Juvani, que está aqui para honrar a gente, nesse momento de finalização deste ciclo, de tantas reflexões, de tantas falas, de tantos saberes partilhados, da sabedoria do povo preto, da América Latina, das diásporas. E dona Juvani, que tem uma história muito forte, uma autodidata, uma grande mestra dos saberes, uma guardiã e mantenedora de saberes, de práticas muito importantes, para a nossa comunidade, para o nosso povo, para a comunidade que ela faz parte, e que ela é uma grande matriarca. E eu passo a fala para a dona Juvani, nesse momento, para que ela fale um pouco dela, desse lugar dela que ela vem, dessa história que ela traz. E aí a gente vai bater um papo, tá, dona Juvani? Na nossa roda estaria, ou estará também, dona Val, que é uma parteira, uma herveira, que movimenta a Maloca Dendê, no sul da Bahia. Ela não conseguiu se conectar ainda, mas pode acontecer dela se integrar também aqui na nossa roda a qualquer momento. E dona Juvani, dona Val é do sul da Bahia, tem uma referência indígena, e dona Juvani é de Cachoeira, do quilombo do Kaonge, é uma mulher afro, com descendência forte, africana, e que vai aqui partilhar. Então fala um pouco, dona Juvani, começa aí, abre essa roda.
Boa tarde a todos, que Deus abençoe a todos vocês. Deus abençoe esse trabalho e essa roda, né?
Everyone, bless us and everyone. Like, I'm starting, so I would like to ask God to allow us that everything goes well. My name is Juvani, like you said, and here I work from
Campo Formoso, cheio de tanta alegria, cheio de tanta alegria. Eu estou pedindo a, meu Deus do céu, eu estou pedindo a, meu Deus do céu, aos orixás, os deuses da alegria, aos orixás, os deuses da alegria. Pedindo a meu Deus e a meu Jesus e a todos os
I'd like to thank God, Jesus, and all of the Orishas, our ancestors, that bless us, my mother, my father. For I carry on to the footsteps. I'd like to say that to everyone, from 7 years old, I had a problem, spiritual problem. When I was 14, I had another problem. So I had to be taking care of myself from a young age. From something that came from my father, and I've been carrying on. When I was young, I said I didn't want to follow into these footsteps, but now I had from teenage years I had to take this path. And when I was younger, I didn't have all this respect for the Orishas, but today I do. I see the importance they do. When I was younger, I wanted to be a teacher, um, but today I am a teacher, but I only after I actually made my own school and started working by myself that I became a teacher, you know. I went at 7 years old. I left home to go study, and I came back at 14. And I came here. I was a teacher here, uh, writing in boards with chalk and everything, and teaching young children, and something that is always loved. Everyone that I taught uh, learned from me how to read and write. Uh, People that came from rural areas, I spent the whole day to the evening teaching people how to read and write. Apart from that, I used to work all the ways up to 2 a.m. sometimes. And all my sons here, you can see them. My sons today are all have degrees. Some of them are doing their degrees. Some are doing the postgraduates. And sometimes I stop and I look at the world. And I look back and it's like, look, this place didn't even have lights, didn't have anything. And I'm amazed that today I can be talking to you guys using internet. And before, when I was younger, here didn't even have radio, didn't have TV, didn't have anything. Um, when I was younger, sometimes had when they came to the first TV here, lots of people had to share one TV, and there's no radio and everything. So today to see from that to have the computer today and see how that helps us to teach people. I find it amazing. It's been amazing. This journey has been great. Um, I had to fight a lot to continue to carry on working with this and seeing all my students blessing me when they pass around the street. And that makes me really happy. It's a huge victory. Within my spiritual home, in the Terreiro, which is a place that I didn't want to take a leader in, but the Orisha said I had to be the leader. But today I say that it was the right, because only after I stopped teaching was when I really started focusing with my Orisha and I started taking care of people. Because when I was younger, the thing that I feared the most was take care of people. Sometimes people with mental illnesses and everything like that. I didn't want to take. I was scared of taking care of people. Um, and after I retired and I started dedicating more of myself to the Orishas. Now I have many children here in Terreiro. And I always question myself, like, wow, how can it be? Um, but it's with a lot of happiness and gratitude that I tell my Orishas to the people in my spiritual home. Um, the things that I didn't want and that today I have uh, is something that I really love. I would like thank you.
Funny. Can I ask something? You're talking about you are today a guardian of this house of worship of Umbanda that you inherited from your family. You said that with 7 years you were very ill, then you cured yourself. The theme of the festival is cure. So we wanted to connect things. Can you talk about what you were ill with at that time? What you had to take care of? What was the cure of that illness? What were the connections that were made? And who is this guardian today that resisted and assumed this place?
When I was 7 years old, I went away to another place to study. But I had a illness. I had a fever, uh, and and people said I used to stink like I was dead. People used to say like as if had a spirit of someone that was dead. Um, People used to say that. So my father made a few herbs and everything, told me to wash myself with those herbs and everything. And then I went to Salvador and I was healed and I went back to study. And then at 14, I had to go back to do another herbs, another showering of herbs and cleansing. And then I got better again. And then and then when I was 19, I got initiated.
19.
Since then, I was already a medium. Started from 7 years old, and at 19, I started hearing the everything from Orishas. Orishas started communicating with me more clearly and everything through dreams and speaking to me, showed me lives of other people,
And
and at
resisting.
this moment, I didn't want to. I was resisting against that. I would say, no, no, this is a dream. I don't believe this. But then I started seeing that it was true. But when I really started to connect, it was after my sons. There was one of my sons that used to get sick out of nowhere. I have two sons, and one of them I used to go to the hospital all the time with him. Um, There was one that was walking and just fell on the sand. And then the doctor, when I took it to the hospital, told me the doctor told me he doesn't have anything. And after some time, the kid would go back to normal. And then one day, the Orisha told me, the Kabuko told me, you have to take care of things. You have to take leadership in your Terreiro, because if you don't do it, he's gonna end up like that for the rest of his life. So I started doing that. So it got better. And then my daughter also had the same problem after some years, you know. And then the Caboclo said again, give your daughter these herbs and she'll be okay. So that's when I started believing a lot. The last time my daughter was, at the time my daughter was 14. Even though I am a mother, spiritual mother of Wanda, I don't
Everyone
really
wants
want
to
my
say that,
children to be,
sometimes.
you know? But from 14 years old, my sister, sim,
Fina.
filho, I thought she had night sleep terrors, because I took her to the hospital in Santa Amaro. She spent 1 week there. She kept on saying that she had a weight on her back and like it was burning and stuff like that. They did all the exams on her and nothing. And the doctor told me, I'm gonna wait for someone to get here, the ambulance to get here, so you could take him to the big city, to Salvador, to do a more specialized test. And I was like, okay. On Thursday, I went there. People told me she wasn't eating, so I went and gave her a tea. And then after some time, the the girl received a caboclo, inside the hospital. Everyone came, the doctors came and saw, and one of the doctors was an indigenous person, and he looked at everyone and is like, who's taking care of this girl? And then he told everyone there, it's like, look, this woman doesn't have any problem with health. This woman is from Macumba. She's got a problem with Macumba. She needs to take care of it. And it was a doctor. It was a doctor that told me that. So I took my daughter out of the hospital and took care of her using spiritual ailments in Macumba. Then after some time, she was great. She was, and at 15, she was going to school with the
Yeah,
headgear,
she's the
with
one who's
all
going
our
to.
all our colors from Macumba, and she was very proud of it.
Just want to contextualize to everyone here. There's a lot of people that are not from here that don't know about uh, how this works. I would like to explain that you're part of a quilombola community in Cachoeira, and for many years there was no water, no lights. When it rained, no one was able to go in or out. Yeah, when you're talking about that, you were talking about resisting the responsibilities that you had from the spiritual planes. But Orisha didn't leave you go, no?
Do you believe that Orisha doesn't let
Manifested?
me live here? It was amazing. Like I was young, and the Orisha told me, "No, you
And
can't
you
leave."
came
I
back.
was about to leave. I was everything ready to.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's so much power, eh? It's astonishing. That's only when we are the only way we realize that we have so much power. That something that came with us, that came with our ancestors or ancestors, and something that goes on and chooses those who will keep on going of this legacy. Okay, clear up the throat so we can talk more.
Just because I'm a bit nervous. That this
One
cough is
moment.
because I'm nervous. Okay, fica better now.
Respirou?
Respirei.
Consegue?
Took a breath. Let's go on. You're from which Orisha?
Eu sou da mãe Oxum. Olha,
I am daughter of Oshun.
eu sou da mãe Oxum com o velho. Eu tenho 3 juntos.
Sim.
I,
Falar, certo?
normally I don't say it,
Porque às
but
vezes não é muito bom a gente falar. Mas como a gente tá numa live, tudo bem.
sometimes it's not good to say exactly what Orisha you're from.
Todo mundo entende. Eu sou do velho com a mãe Oxum de frente. Aí vem a mãe Ançã e o pai Oxóssi. Aí vem a mãe Emanjá e o pai Ogum.
I am from Oshun with in the beginning with Yamanja and Ogun.
Às vezes eu digo assim, é muito peso. Ainda agora eu estava falando.
And sometimes I say it's a lot of weight, to carry. It's a lot of
Tem uma live
strong
que
orishas.
assim,
There's something that
fica
how can I say it?
me alumiar, eu digo assim, me alumiar.
Is there a way of
Tem que ficar
I I need to become neutral because all of these orishas can take me. So I always try to calm myself and become neutral and organize myself. But it's a bit hard to work to incorporate all these orishas,
Os trabalhadores dele,
because apart from the orishas, I also have to the, their issues and the other spirits that work with them that can incorporate in me. So I really need to be calm and try not to incorporate and try to control it.
Yeah.
Because they are
There,
themselves. They are
there.
themselves. I am myself. So when I need to speak through them, it has to
Yeah,
be
it's
a
very
dialogue.
complex.
It's complex and hard.
E como é que para administrar tantos assim, né,
And how do you administer so many orishas?
Well, it was that I wanted to talk about. You need to be very prepared in order to administrate yourself.
você tem que se administrar, certo? Se você não
You need to take care of yourself. You need to be able to handle this thing. It's a bit hard. It's quite hard.
Only time to give this wisdom.
Sometimes you sit in a couch and everything. You receive that energy with some song or something and everything. You need to control that.
It's a portal, right? It's a person who's a portal for the spiritual realm, a living portal.
Sometimes you can change your clothes, go to the
Yeah.
doorway, and sometimes you stop and you hear from the Orisha, you can go. And then you have to go back. You have to listen to them, it's hard. I have to for example, I don't want that for my daughter. I had my son had a problem on his leg, and he went to a hospital in Salvador, and they did a procedure.
Was it Isabella?
He had a really large wound on his leg that had to do a surgery to try to to heal, and I didn't know what it was. And I went to the rishas, I went to everything, and I was like, I went and I spoke to my father from the other side, and I was like, please, Father, heal my son. You used to heal everyone when you were alive. And then I remember that I saw a vision when I was dreaming of my son, of my father bringing the remedy, the help, the herbs to heal my son
He
in
told
my
you
dream,
the
telling me
medicine.
exactly how to heal him. So I went to the first car, went to Salvador, and I did the herb, and I was like, and then I went to the doctor and I said, I'm going to take my son. Everyone was like, no, you're crazy. You can't do that. The doctor is about to do more tests on him. He's going to do the surgery. And then I was like, no, I'm going to take him. I know how to heal. I took everything and I brought him home. When he got home, I started doing the remedy that my father told me to do. You 7 days. In 7 days, he was good. He was almost 100%. 7 days. These things these things that made me really believe in this spiritual journey that I was doing.
Te testou pelos filhos, né?
You were tested by your children,
It
right?
was a test from my sons, and today I tell myself every time, I didn't want this journey. I didn't want my sons to follow this journey. I didn't want it to had to take to my sons, but all of my sons today are within
Todo mundo
uh,
está envolvido.
Wanda. You know,
Everyone is part of it.
today I always tell them, you guys are in the journey of knowledge at a young age. Because when I was younger, I didn't know these
Tô
things.
aqui. É porque começou a chover, eu precisei mudar de lugar.
It's because it started raining. I had to move.
I didn't live. I didn't follow my father when he was taking care of people. While my sons know, my sons have followed
Your children.
me, have followed me while I've been doing Wanda at home. All of them are
E a senhora
involved.
hoje cura através das ervas,
And
através
today
das
you cure
ervas.
through the herbs.
Yes, I use the herbs. Yes. Do you believe with the pandemic? I don't like to say this because I don't like to brag, but my orishas told me how to do a remedy. Told me how to do a certain remedy that healed a lot of people. But in our community, the people that took this remedy,
They're
I
so
was really
precious.
surprised that they were all well afterwards.
Aham. Ela fica na ponte.
Um, some of my daughters here, had, four of them had this COVID, but they followed the regime the Orishas told them.
Well,
The Orishas told them, and they were well. They won the fight against disease.
Uhum.
I remember that lots of people didn't want to believe how serious this disease was. And then when people started dying, they came to me. They came to other people here saying that asking God,
Ah.
everyone being afraid of going to the hospital. and everything. Even my daughter, even when my daughter had a shot, she told me how to do it, told everyone how to do it, how to take care of themselves. It was something that she had to, it was like lots of remedies I had to take during the day, with honey and ginger and lots of different remedies,
Yeah,
and then doing the herbs 3 times a day
that
and
is so
everything,
precious.
and lots of people have to do it.
That is best hospital. Yeah, hospital and spa. This is just being there. It must be amazing. With all the nature, with all this, full of powerful herbs.
There was one that was doing, was doing the tea, did the tea and drank it. And every single time I'm amazed, because when the Orisha told me how to do it, I was like, wow, I didn't even know you could make a tea out of this herb. And it's a relationship of faith. Sometimes you doubt what they say, but
Yeah, it's
we
something that you
trust.
must
We
trust. We
trust
have
that
to
what
have
they
faith.
say is going to work.
You are pray.
Yes, when there's a necessity, I pray. I was taught by my mother to do this. I've taught my daughters as well how to do it. My grandchild actually told me how, hey, can you teach me how to do the prayers? Wonder. Was say it
How
there
many? How
as an
many years?
audio on WhatsApp, and I'm going to read it. And she's only
Oh,
2 years
so
old.
cute.
She's only
Yeah,
2 years old, and she's already trying to learn. And I taught her, and it was really interesting. Everyone needs to learn, especially because she's far away from me. You know, uh, it's interesting.
you listen.
Vento caindo is when someone gets frightened, the stomach grows, and it's a disease. It's some
Understand.
sort of disease. She's talking and there's some remedies that you can take
Apple?
with apple tea and cotton, and boil it and do something else. And then, so I took care of my children like that. Most of them didn't go to hospitals too. I took care of them at
Yeah.
home.
And you come from a time that it's harder to go outside. So we always have to search for healers and for prayers because there was no medicals, no doctors, no hospitals. Me too. In here, we used to go first to healers. We take baths, tea before go to the doctors.
Around here, there weren't any doctors. For example, when I got pregnant, there was no like, uh, there was no, there was like prenatal methods, nothing of that. Only the last one that I had to do a C-section. Like the one that when I was pregnant from twins, I didn't even know they were twins. The person that used to take care of uh, the person that was going to deliver my baby actually held my tummy at the time, and was like, "Oh, I think it's two children. It's two children." And she actually didn't tell me. She told my sister.
Mhm.
when I started doing the having the when I started giving birth of those twins, and she looked when I started at 7 a.m. And when the woman arrived, she looked and she was
The
like,
first one,
"Your baby's only going to arrive at 5 p.m."
when the
When
tide,
the sea levels rises, you know, and it's amazing that I only had her exactly at 5 p.m. And it was here at my house.
that's
I didn't go
beautiful.
to any hospitals. And they called our neighbor to help
He had how
us.
many children?
I have 10 children.
May God bless.
I have 10 children. Uh, Two girls, one that were twins, and one of my daughters also had twins. One of the twins also had had twins.
Ela tem casal.
She had a boy and a girl. Had 10 children. All our 10 children. I didn't want to know if it was a boy or a girl before they were born. You know, I would only know after they were born. I never went to a doctor. Only in the last one that I looked
Yes.
for a doctor. Because afterwards I wanted to do an operation so that I didn't have any more children.
You have
You
how
know,
many siblings?
my mother also had 10 children.
Channels.
Unfortunately, I've lost four siblings. No, three. I think three.
From those 10, you are the inheritor of spiritual inheritor of your father. You always felt that you were the one to inherit this out of the 10. What made you notice that you were the one? But in general, you notice due to the mediunity. One,
No, people have their um, uh, spiritual side, but it's not everyone that's a medium, because there's a people that are mediums but are not but cannot take in the Orisha or the Kaboko. But they have their responsibilities within the house. So my responsibility was not the same with my brothers. Some of them incorporate, some don't. But most of the responsibility of taking care of the
your
house
siblings live there in the community?
was in my back. My brothers, my siblings don't live here in the
And
community.
yes, is your
Only one
brother.
of them lives here. I actually raised all my brothers and sisters. My mother died at 38 years old.
Very young.
Really, really early. And I also thought I was going to die young, like she did. But now I'm 71. I raised my siblings. I raised my children. I already have grandchildren,
Yeah,
great
of course.
grandchildren. And like the Orisha said, imagine if everyone
Yeah,
was
of
all the
course.
same. How would this world be? You know? They always tell me the world is big, huge. Earth is actually small for everyone that 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 live in here. Because lots of people don't understand each other. People don't comprehend themselves. But
You think that people are disconnected of their essence, of their existence in general?
yes, I believe people are disconnected from their cores, from the paths. Before, long time ago, from the time of our ancestors, I believe it was different. People had more respect of each other, had a better understanding. But today, people are different. Everything is banalized and everything.
Sim.
People don't have that respect that they had before. I remembered my grandfather walking to Cachoeira, walking. My grandfather used to come from another city to here, walking. And I remember that the healer, and when my father was walking and everything, and when my father was walking closer to that house of worship, my father would stop and would wait for the healer to stop, to finish his prayer. So it was a show. It was a show of a lot of respect. But today we don't see that respect anymore.
Perdeu o respeito, perdeu a
Lost
reverência,
the
perdeu as
respect,
coisas, né?
the reverence, the references.
Uh, for example, I can't complain I can't complain here, right? Sometimes there's problems with people drinking too much and everything. But normally it's great, but today the have taken people young people are taking things in a different way, and there's people that resist that. So sometimes telling the when I tell the stories to my grandchildren, they always go like, "Ah, you have so many stories, grandma. She speaks too much. She speaks from morning to evening."
Yeah, it's that way.
But it's like that. You need to tell. We need to tell people where we came from, the stories. It's how we keep the stories alive.
Stories are oral form, so we have to tell the stories so it goes on. This generation now, we have the opportunity to register everything, to do documentaries, books, photos.
When I tell them, uh, when I was younger, I was I watched a meeting my dad had uh, doing a festivities for Maroon. After the session, all the mediums were white. The fight started. The 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 the, the, the party started with atabakis, and then everyone used to dance at the evening. And during those parties, everyone would be happy. He started the party with the atabakis and everything. But during the meeting, he went outside and started singing and whistling, singing and whistling. He was singing and whistling and vai, singing. And he whistled and whistled. And out of nowhere, a snake, a snake went into the spiritual house. Went up my godmother's leg, went onto the table, went to the jar of flowers, and 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 actually rested next to my father. This moment, this moment, the right moment when the snake stopped, everyone that was a medium received manifested themselves. This was when I was 12.
That's
When I
beautiful.
was 12. 71 today, and I'm never.
Aí cantou, depois ele foi do lado de fora, cantou, aí o Angorô pegou ele, aí
Then after
voltou, a cobra,
he sang again, and then when he incorporated, the snake left. You know, and it was amazing. The snake left. So
And Angoro, to those who don't know, is correspondent to Oshumare. Oshumare is the Risha of the land that is represented by the
it's
snake.
yes, it's the Orisha of the earth represented by the snake. Every Monday, almost every Monday, I used to doing the offerings to Agomere. And then once I saw this snake, and then when I saw it, screamed. I screamed and I started going back. You know, all the time when we going to live outside the the snakes, going to leave the offerings to Shimara. Sometimes people see this snake, you know. Even once one of my daughters went to leave and they're like, yo, grandmother, we saw the snake, she's big, there's her and another one. But she's never attacked anyone. But
The snake.
even sometimes
The snake.
sometimes my one of my daughters here in the
Until
house.
today, she still
People
passes through there.
wake me up in the middle of the night saying, "Hey, the snake was here.
You know where
The
she lives?
snake was here." But it's amazing. It doesn't look like a normal snake. It's things like
Yeah,
this that
of
makes us
course.
believe, you know,
Always. It's an honor to
because
speak with you now. This is amazing stories you're sharing.
these things make us believe that the Orishas are here, that they're here to help make that them work. And everyone has their beliefs. You know. Today, I'm not worried about what people think and say, you know, things like that. Because today I've been working well, you know. Uh,
Yeah.
because this is what I want, you know. At least I'm not going to go back to Earth to carry on work. My spirit
Yes,
is
you're
not going to
already
come back
honoring
to
your
Earth to
mission right
carry on
now and
with
doing your
work I
best.
couldn't do in this Earth.
So you did have the relations that is so close to Orishas and so many different Orisha and to Caboclo as well, their workers. What do they mostly talk about in regards to people in general? Mostly they will leave a message in terms of what they see in the other plane. What do they normally leave as a message? What catches more your attention from the spiritual plane that leaves as a message here to us?
That moment when you believe and you don't believe, you know, that moment where you can take on your faith, you know, to believe in everything. It's important to believe in everyone, you know. When they say it is important to believe in your father and mother, which is the principle. They say never say you have friends because friends almost no one has. because not everyone is the same or thinks the same as you. There's this side of jealousy, of betrayal, and everything. The vision, the way people look at you say who you are. You need to believe everyone. Trust. You need to see someone. Trust that says from everything to everything. It's not everything that you do that you have to say. It's not everything that you want that you have to tell people. It's important to say. And it's real. It's not everything that you believe that you have to say. It's because of jealousy. It's not because human beings are bad. It's because of the power of, spiritual vibration. It's because human beings can actually ha- might not be might not have any malice, but power brings malice. And sometimes you're amazed and you're like, "Whoa! I didn't even imagine that this person could do this to me.
Yeah.
I trusted him so much." Um, Sometimes you say, "Look, it's like sometimes trust me." And sometimes they say, "Don't trust any brother, don't trust father, don't trust mother." But if the Orisha tell me this is not food to eat, you
Yeah.
shouldn't eat it. If the, the worst thing you can put inside your body, something that you eat. You can never say that no, no, that doesn't exist. But no, in life, here in the world, anything can happen. Life, this world is very interesting. I believe this. You need to see. You need to 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 be grateful. You need to be friends with everyone. You need to be able to carry yourself within lots of places in
Protect yourself.
society, but you need to be aware. It's not with everyone that you can share your dream. I'm not even sure if I could say this, but I wanted to share it with you guys. We need to be ourselves and take care of ourselves. So there's no need for you to be telling everyone what you to do, what you want to achieve.
Yes. Thank you so much, Giovanni. Can't you say something special?
Not sure. This month that we are, we need to understand that there was a lot of people that went before their time. Uh, we need to pray for the spirits that went before their time. That went before their time. Especially people they say, I'm going next year, die next year. And then people don't say that. Especially another thing, people shouldn't say like out loud like, oh, next year I'm going to do this. Next week I'm going to do this. Sometimes the energy doesn't let you do it. So spiritually, the only thing I would say to the world is that people should pray to the spirits that went. because they are not yet organized. Because there are people that didn't expect to have gone. You know, people that
It's like premature deaths. Yeah, premature deaths. They're still trying to finish the time that they would stay here for. They didn't end their mission.
so I always sing to the spirits that are still here on earth. And I even I even cry when I sing.
Que do sonho se achou. Pedimos por piedade, misericórdia, Senhor. Pedimos por piedade, misericórdia, Senhor. Misericórdia de mim. Misericórdia, meu Deus. Misericórdia, Senhor, tenha dó desse povo pecador. Ele diz misericórdia de mim, não que ele, assim como espírito, tivesse, mas o que ele estava vindo no mundo, o que estava acontecendo no mundo, ele pedia misericórdia por tudo. Então, hoje eu peço misericórdia pelo mundo, quando diz assim, essa doença está voltando. Eu sempre falei que
So always ask for forgiveness to the people because this disease is coming back. So everyone needs to get vaccinated, needs to still do the humans to go to chest. So it's important for people to take care of themselves. Um, Everyone is going back to have putting mask, and I think
La 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 e la la, mas eu andei por esse mundo de meu Deus, catatumbambe, catatumbamba, eu andei por esse mundo de meu Deus, catatumbambe, catatumbamba, mas são tantas coisas, meu povo, mas eu andei. Oh, são tantas coisas, meu povo, e eu andei lá, bem alto. Lá, 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 lá. Pediu misericórdia a Deus por esse mundo.
asking forgiveness to God for
That's
this.
thank you. So much power, a lot of work.
Lots of work.
Minha flor, nosso tempo já chegou ao fim, né? Então,
We're ending our time, so I would like to thank you so much for this moment. We ended up having a lot of stories here and so much beauty, so much wisdom. I want to thank you so much in name of the event. We are ending the festival. This is the last meeting for festival. This festival that is talking about cure and connection. And you brought here so many stories of connections and cure as well. The calling for spirituality and Orisha talked used your body and illness to bring you to your path and the responsibilities that you have and to continue on with this legacy that so may you bless me, my mother, yeah, and if you want to sing to thank the orishas that are present in this moment, to thank this festival.
And to end today, today that's the day of Black Consciousness. And for Black people, that day is every day. black consciousness for black people every day. You need to have that conscience to be aware of everything that's going on around. So I always thank God to bless everyone. Asking our gods that
Este mundo é um engano, este mundo é um engano, este mundo é um engano. Nossa Senhora do Socorro, socorra a todos pobres pecadores. Este mundo é um engano, este mundo é um engano. Nossa Senhora do Livramento, livrai a todos dos maus do céu e da terra. Esse mundo é o engano. Esse mundo que nós vivemos é um engano,
this
né?
world that we live in has lots of mistakes. But God, she's doing a prayer asking forgiveness to God. That we need to pray for everyone. The world that we live needs that for us to understand one another. We need to talk to understand one another. If we understand one another, it's much easier to work. I like to say a good afternoon and good evening to everyone.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon to everyone here.